So what I recommend is least amount of ingredients, the best, the least processed, the best. Buy fresh food, go to the store often, go grow your own garden. And we teach sprouts. We teach growing sprouts in your home. And you can do this on your countertop. You don't even need soil. There's lots of them you can grow without soil, like mung beans and red lentils and fenugreek and alfalfa, radish sprouts, broccoli sprouts, red clover sprouts, onion sprouts. All these can be grown. Garbanzo beans or chickpeas, same thing. These any type of bean, man boobs, right? You want some man boobs? Well, synthetic estrogens coming from crude oil. Plastics come from crude oil. They're processed with 3,000 chemicals. That's why we drink out of glass jars. We don't ever drink out of plastic, because these estrogen mimickers are so pervasive, and these come from anything chemical. So perfumes included are so pervasive today. 1,500 miles into the interior, and pristine lakes, the little 2 and 2.5 inch fish have both male and female organs today. They're turned into hermaphrodites. Why? The estrogen mimickers from plastics and synthetic perfumes and hair dyes and all these things.
Sometimes I think, do you think they don't have the right motivation, or not the right, but enough, like the motivation? You had the motivation to change,
Well, I don't know. I mean, I slowly all this stuff creeped up on me. My weight creeped up, my elbows bleeding. All this stuff was a slow process. And then all of a sudden I'm 37 years old and I'm 42 pounds overweight and I have all these health issues. I'm like, shit, I'm an athlete in my mind, but I was fat and out of shape and, bleeding, elbows bleeding, rectal bleeding. So I was a time bomb. I can't even believe that was me now looking back. I don't think it's motivation. I think what it is that the lifestyle that we're taught and that's out there for us, if we're not careful, just going into the store and buying whatever and going to fast food and eating whatever, it's a recipe for death and destruction. And you're not going to have a good life. My life sucked back then. Those last few years before I switched and started cleaning up my diet and learning about stuff, I was a mess. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I think the motivation, unfortunately, there's two people. You either get enlightened or you get frightened. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And the second one is the majority of people. The essential oils are awesome. I love them. They're part of the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. I put them on my body. I put them in my body. I put them in my food. I diffuse them and breathe them. That's where they came from. Essential oils were used, and the Egyptian women wanted it because it smelled really good. So then that's how the whole perfume thing got going.
Yeah.
And then
So we've just gone back.
They take essential oils in nature, then they synthesize them in a laboratory, make the synthetic version because it's cheaper, because you don't have to gather it by hand and squeeze it and do all that stuff. And then you spray it on yourself, and then you walk into my office and pollute me. Thank you very much.
Now I can't walk into stores where you've got all the incense sticks,
They're toxic chemicals that are lowering their immune system, and by you breathing them, they're lowering your immune system. So they're affecting you. That's the problem. People don't realize that, you're affecting other people. It's like secondhand smoke, no different. You're putting on a chemical perfume from some fancy company, Ralph Lauren or whatever. You're harming your health and harming other people's health, Or you can just put on some essential oils and boost your immune system and attract 10 times more people.
Yeah, in some way.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And for those single people out there, or maybe you're trying to have a romantic night with your spouse, I know when I was single, I was really into, essential oils back there for a while, and I still am, but I would go out and put orange on my neck or lemon. I was always putting essential oils on, and these girls would come up and God, you smell so good. And they're like, what is that? You smell like oranges. And I'm like, yeah, it's orange essential oil. And they're like, I love it.
Yeah.
So that's, you want to be attractive. You want to be like a flower. You want to have a good fragrance, ladies and men.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to stink like a chemical. Problems. So when you have cellular inflammation, think about the hormones that you were talking about for thyroid, T3 and T4. Those hormones cannot connect and communicate with the cells properly because there's inflammation barrier in between them. So instead of hey, what's up? How you doing today, Annabel? T3 says to the blood cell. Instead, it's blah, 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 and they can't even get there, right? Again, it's just a broken communication. And then what's the end result? All of your cells can't communicate. Well, you don't feel good. You don't feel right. Something's wrong. I forgot, right?
Yeah.
So always learning, remembering, and then doing and practicing. So
Yeah.
this has taken years. It's taken me 11 years.
Mm.
So many people will put themselves last until the wheel falls off, and then they can't take care of anybody. Like me. Like I had to be pushed in a wheelchair back into the States and I ruined that trip for everybody. So many moms and fathers, especially moms, I see them do it all the time, where they put everybody else first. They do everything for everybody else. They won't do anything for themselves. I want you to have a healthy life. I want you to have a vibrant life. I want you to have great relationships with whoever you choose to be with and your friends. I want you to be excited about your career, and I want you to be excited about what you get to do every single day.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if you're living in a life where you're putting yourself last. You want your kids to be where
100%.
you're at? No. That's why we always say change yourself, change your world. And as soon
Yeah.
as you do, everything changes for you.
Well, you don't have the energy to give all of those gifts, talents, abilities, live out your life purpose if you're feeling sick, miserable, tired, So you have to.
Yeah.
Exactly what you
You
said.
can only change yourself. It's
Yeah.